welcome to the chat. Let's see. I started before I really meant to go live, but since I'm live, it is what it is. Hey, you guys, welcome. Tonight, we're going to be talking about this latest update. I was going to talk about Kanye and all his rants about Kim Kardashian, saying that she is, saying that she is, let me see something. She's trafficking. Like, that's crazy that, he's made those allegations. But it's really not that far-fetched, to be honest. Let me see. It's really not that far-fetched for him to be saying something like that because Kim Kardashian is closely tied with Balenciaga, which I don't know if you guys remember a couple of years ago, they had that whole scandal where they were inappropriate images of children. So I just feel like even though his rants are terrible, the things that he said about Beyonce are horrible, it's not that far removed to think that all of these people are peers. So I don't think that any of them are above being part of this whole, pedo type of thing. But anyway, we are going to be talking about Kristina Khorram. She just broke her silence. And as you guys know, she is the person that's very, very closely tied to Diddy. And so that's what we're going to do. There's an article in Rolling Stones, and she breaks her silence. Everybody was wondering what happened to her. So before we get into her article, let's go back and kind of go over some videos where they kind of discuss her involvement with Diddy. So let's go here. Hold on. Let me start this. I'm going to play a couple videos to talk about her role with Diddy and why she's very key to the case. Like, Diddy is going up for RICO charges. So, hey, D-Dot, welcome to the chat. How you doing? Thank you for joining. I don't know if you heard, you guys know that, remember Kristina Khorram, which is Diddy's right-hand woman? Remember, she went missing, but all of a sudden she's breaking her silence. Now she's breaking her silence, in my opinion, because the trial is getting ready to come up. She's been investigated by the feds. So now it's like, the ish is getting ready to hit the fan. Okay, so she did an article in Rolling Stone, so I'm going to go over that. But we're going to go back about and listen to, like, 10 months ago, like, she just disappeared, right? Now, we know Kristina Khorram is his right-hand woman, right-hand man, however you want to say it. It's the same thing with that Ghislaine Maxwell for Epstein. So let's, D-Dot says, I just got off of Kristen Cole's live talking about Biggie. Yeah, I did a video about that. Oh, yeah, it's so much going on today, right? It's just a lot going on. Okay, but let me get into this. Hold on. Let's get into this one right here.
Combs has a tight inner circle, including his right-hand woman, Kristina Khorram. So who is she and why is she named in a lawsuit by a former producer for Combs? Thanks for joining me for Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. When Rodney Little Rod Jones filed that lawsuit against Sean Combs,
can you guys hear?
Others, Kristina Khorram was one of the people named as the defendant in the suit. And I want to be crystal clear. Sean Combs has vehemently denied these allegations. His attorney, Sean Hawley, has been quoted as saying they've tried to present evidence to Little Rod's attorney to disprove the claims, but they've been rebuffed. So that would make anything Little Rod...
Okay, you guys, I'm trying to turn it up. My bad.
...true as well.
Kristina
Khorram on the federal court's website. Khorram's now deleted LinkedIn account has said in 2013 and became Combs' day-to-day manager, later becoming director for the officer of the chairman. And the chairman, of course, is Diddy.
Okay.
She was promoted to Diddy's chief of staff back in 2020, and she's very important to him. Combs has even written about her on social media. Meet Kristina Khorram, chief of staff at Combs Enterprises. Kristina.
For those of you guys that don't remember Kristina Khorram is the woman who they said would walk around at the Diddy parties with a bag of rugs, right? And give them to people.
AKA KK, keeps everything in my life and my business running. She's been my right hand for the last 8 years and has consistently proven to execute and get S-word done. Don't know how I'd function without her. In another post, Diddy wrote, "Happy birthday to my ace Boon Coon, my right hand, my day-to-day manager that keeps my world twirling, and she's always got my back. She makes sure that I smile every day and I don't go into those dark places. Today is your day. It's your mother effing birthday. Go KK, it's your birthday. Love you, at Kristina Khorram." Combs clearly values Kristina Khorram's work and his relationship with her. The lawsuit Lil Rod filed makes some disturbing and salacious claims against Khorram, and again, Combs has denied.
Khorram has been named in 3 cases so far, and she's also being investigated by the feds.
What's in that lawsuit? First, Lil Rod has claimed that Mr. Combs' chief of staff, Kristina Khorram, also known as KK, instructs her staff to retrieve drugs so she can provide them to Mr. Combs for his consumption. A footnote in the lawsuit that Lil Rod filed says, defendant Khorram instructed her staff, Brendan Paul, Frankie Santella, and Moy Bond, to spike bottles of champagne with ecstasy. Upon information and belief, this occurred the day of December 31st, 2022, New Year's Eve party. Lil Rod claims he complained to Khorram about sexual advances from Combs, and she responded, "Sean will be Sean," and downplayed Combs groping him as horseplay, stating, "He's just showing that he likes you." Jones also called Khorram the Ghislaine Maxwell to Sean Combs' Jeffrey Epstein, claiming she required employees to walk around with fanny packs of cocaine, GHB, and ecstasy to keep Combs high, and much more. Gene Rossi is a former federal prosecutor. So, Gene, there's this allegation that Kristina Khorram, the chief of staff for Sean Combs, is ordering drugs through this guy, Brendan Paul, the so-called drug mule. And
now you guys remember Brendan Paul is the guy that they caught at the airport. Remember when they were flying somewhere, we never really found out where he was going, but this is the young man that they arrested, and it sounds like he's made a deal because he is out now and with no further charges.
Employees to run around with black fanny packs that carry these drugs so that Sean Combs can be high all of the time. That seems like typical Hollywood stuff, possibly. What's the crime in that, potentially, as far as the feds are concerned?
Well, in my view is you have a potential, they did a search warrant, the federal government did a search warrant, Southern District of New York. That is bad in 3 or 4 U.S. attorney's offices in the country. That is very bad for Mr. Combs and the other defendant in this quorum. The second thing is the federal charges that they're probably...
So she is a named defendant in the civil cases. So far, she hasn't been named in the indictment, but people are speculating that she may, the enterprise letter, that she may be one of the members that they name as part of the, the enterprise, the RICO.
Investigating are a criminal RICO, money laundering, a Mann Act violation, which involves sex trafficking, interstate transport of minors. It could involve a lot of charges. So let me focus on the allegation. It seems, according to the allegation, that Ms. Khorram was a purchaser of large amounts of drugs that went to Mr. Combs, but I can't help but believe that these employees were also providing these drugs to the victims, to other customers, not just the employees and Mr. Combs. So it wasn't just drugs, in my view, for Combs alone. It was probably used by the employees and also used by the victims of this crime.
There's a particularly disturbing allegation that Kristina Khorram, according to this lawsuit, was ordering people to spike bottles of champagne for a New Year's Eve party a couple of years back, and ordering them to...
The problem is Christine is trying to say that she didn't do any of this, but other people are coming forward saying, yes, you did. She is, it's no way she's not going to, or unless she cut a deal, but she did something.
With certain drugs. And then the claim is that maybe there were minors at this party and things like that. What trouble could she be in regarding that allegation?
Well, it's part of the sex trafficking, and when it involves minors, that takes it up a notch. And
Wow.
it's either a separate federal statute or it's a sentencing enhancement. But when you're engaging in illegal conduct excuse me, you're engaging in illegal conduct involving a minor, okay?
Yeah, D dot, exactly. She's trying to say that she didn't do anything, but it's hard because number one, you got Diddy shouting you out saying you are the head, the chief of staff of his organization, and then you have people naming you in their lawsuits. I just don't see how she's not going to do some time. I'm sorry, I just
Of
don't.
sex trafficking. I can tell you this from my experience. That is like steroids and rocket fuel for an aggressive prosecutor. And as I said at the beginning, you have the Southern District of New York plus exploitation of minors.
Little Rod, who sued Sean Combs, many other people, including Kristina Khorram, basically calls her the Ghislaine Maxwell to Sean Combs's Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
So that's a very serious statement to make, a serious claim to make. Sean Combs denies all of this. What are your thoughts on what kind of trouble she could potentially be in if this is true, if these
Especially with the minors. Oh, this is going to be a big deal. Can y'all please hit the like button? Can we get the likes up, please? Thank you.
allegations that they're running this RICO organized crime enterprise so Sean Combs can bring in people to have sex with and use drugs with and groom.
D dot, I totally agree. There's no way she did not know what was going on. I mean, it's like even if you turned a blind eye and you didn't, like, I'm just saying, we know she did some stuff, but it's like you can't turn a blind eye and be a part of this organization and think you're going to get away with it. No, no, ma'am, no.
His, sexual fantasies and things like that. What kind of trouble could she be in if she's arranging these trysts and then buying drugs to ply people with?
All right. Here is the big problem for Miss Khorram by being compared to Ghislaine Maxwell. Number one, you have the same district, the Southern District of New York, investigating Mr. Combs and Mr.
Okay, but let me pose this question to you, D dot. If Kristina was giving drugs and doing stuff with Diddy, Cassie was doing some stuff too before she decided she didn't want to do it no more, right? She was hiring the people, she was taking the drugs and distributing them. So do you think that Ghislaine is going to say, well, Diddy made me do it. He made me do it. I didn't have a choice. Y'all get the likes up, please. D-Dot says he looked like he's related to who you. Oh, yes. And Clive is 1 billion years old. Everybody dying around Clive but him, right? That's crazy.
Two, Miss Khorram.
He does.
So the Southern District of New York already has a template for an indictment. Essentially, all you do is change the name.
He does. He does look like, man, that looks like Clive Davis. Oh, that looks like his twin. Oh my God. I thought it, he looked familiar, but I couldn't put a face on it. But you're right, D-Dot.
They're the same scheme.
They both
the
look
same
like monsters.
statutes. It's just take this template, this indictment that was used for Miss Maxwell, and probably the same prosecutors are going to take it and insert Mr. Combs and Miss Khorram, and it's going to be Jeffrey Epstein too.
Wow.
So those are bad facts
Same thing.
and practices that are facing Mr. Combs and Miss Khorram. And I got to tell you, I predict it will probably take about 4 to 6 months for the agents to analyze the results of the search warrants in LA and in Florida of Mr. Combs' homes. They'll go through data, documents, and all that. It'll probably take 4 to 6 months. I predict that there will be a federal indictment, if I had to bet money, by the Southern District of New York in probably September or October of this year. And I would be shocked if it doesn't include Mr. Combs and Miss Khorram and others on this list. I see Cuba Gooding Jr., This
Right.
this civil complaint that was amended.
Now, a lot of the people who were in Little Rod's complaint, they haven't been named yet in the criminal case, but we're still waiting for that enterprise letter. And I understand that Diddy's attorneys recently, like a day or two ago, got the names of the 3 people that are charging Diddy. But we won't. But the names are going to be withheld from the
What
public.
that tells me, Anjanette, is there may be a little coordination between the federal prosecutors and the plaintiff, Mr. Rodney Jones, Lil Rod.
Yeah, I've been wondering about that myself since we've kind of heard that possibly this investigation, at least the federal investigation, may have been underway before these civil suits started being filed last fall. What are your thoughts on that, Gene?
Can y'all, somebody hit the like button? Can y'all hit the like button? Please. That way I get more people to come in and it makes me want to come back and talk about it. Can y'all do that for me? Thanks.
Okay, I can give you my experience. I investigated a very crooked pain doctor. He issued prescriptions as high as, I'm not making this up, 1,200 oxy pills per day. I was investigating this doctor in Northern Virginia, and a private litigant read about it in the paper and heard about it on the news because it was high profile. They filed a lawsuit based on some of the information that I was gathering, and there was some exchange of witnesses and information that is not improper. Prosecutors can work with private litigants if there's a common, person or defendant. There's nothing wrong with that. You just can't share secret grand jury information with the private lawyer and the litigant.
So you think it's possible?
I think it's exceedingly possible that there is coordination between the Southern District of New York prosecutors and the civil litigant. And I know it could be a coincidence, but I believe the coincidence don't happen by mistake. That they filed their amended complaint on March 25th, the same day as the execution of the search warrant. That's too much of a coincidence for me.
Well, Sean Combs is denying all of this. He's saying he has evidence through his attorney to refute Little Rod's allegations. That means that, Kristina Khorram is basically denying it as well, but she doesn't have an attorney listed. So we just wanted to note that no charges have been filed, but wanted to look a little closer at Kristina Khorram and who she is and what she's accused of doing in this lawsuit. Gene Rossi, thanks so much again for coming on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, so Kristina, okay, D-Dot says, Little got some evidence. Yeah, he does. It was after Cassie and he filed his complaint that a lot of this came together for the indictment. So I don't see how Kristina thinks that she's going to be absolved from all of this. So I'm going to play another video. I really want to get into her role with Diddy because to me that's key here. Like, we keep trying to figure out, well, who's the other person? Who is the other person that's going to be part of this, part of the enterprise. And that's why I really want to look at what Kristina has done. Let me see. I had a video up here where they really were talking about her role in his organization because she's trying to come out and act in like, oh, I didn't do anything. I had nothing to do with it. Ma'am, it was your job. Okay, let me see here. It was her job. Let's see. Is that the one? I think let me see if this is the right one. Okay, this is the right one here.
In charged with RICO conspiracy. He used his business and employees of that business and other close associates to get his way.
One employee that's come under the microscope in the Sean Diddy Combs saga, his former chief of staff, Kristina Khorram. Combs once called her his right hand. I take a look at where she could fall into this case. Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Kristina Khorram isn't a name you've probably heard before, but she was a key part of Sean Combs' life for years. I first told you about Khorram here on Crime Fix back in April after the raids on Combs.
So this lady worked with him for years. She had to put some things in place. They had to work in tandem to do a lot of the things that he did. I don't understand how she believes or how they're saying that she's going to get off. Ghislaine Maxwell, the one who was working with Epstein, she is behind bars. She did not only does she know a lot, she's done a lot. There have been documents that say she was literally the mastermind. Now, I don't believe that she's necessarily the mastermind, but I believe she is definitely has a bigger role in all of this than her attorneys are trying to say that she does.
Combs. Khorram's LinkedIn account, which was deleted many months ago, said that she joined Bad Boy Entertainment in 2013 and became Combs's day-to-day manager. That title makes you think that she was likely running his schedule and was likely involved in every aspect of his life. So it leads you to believe there's probably no one who knows Sean Combs better and what he's like than Kristina Khorram. Khorram later became the director for the Office of the Chairman. And then in 2020, she was promoted, earning the title of Diddy's Chief of Staff. Khorram worked for Combs during the time that he's being accused of a racketeering conspiracy, using his businesses and employees to commit and cover up a number of crimes, including sex trafficking. But Khorram does not face any criminal charges. I want to be very clear about that. She has been named in one civil lawsuit filed by a record.
At this point, she has been named in 3 civil lawsuits, but they're saying that she may be indicted as well at some point.
Producer, and I'll tell you more about the allegations made against her in that suit in a bit. But as far as the crimes that Sean Combs is accused of committing, the U.S. attorney said that Sean Combs didn't commit his crimes alone. Damian Williams said Combs had help.
Combs has been charged with RICO conspiracy. He used his business and employees of that business and other close associates to get his way. Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff. The indictment alleges that those individuals facilitated the freak-offs. They booked the hotel rooms and stocked them with the supplies, including drugs, baby oil, personal lubricant, extra linens, and lighting.
A freak-off
When the hotel rooms got damaged, they helped clean it up. They arranged for victims and commercial sex workers to travel for the freak-offs, and they delivered large quantities of cash to Combs to pay for the commercial sex workers.
Wow.
The indictment also alleges that they helped Combs cover up his crimes. During the March 2016 incident at the LA hotel that I mentioned earlier,
I want to tell you about a great free app. It's called Upside, and it will give you cash back on things like food and gas.
Come on,
This is not a confusing rewards program. Upside will give you
We're not here for
back
that.
on gas side or scan
Girl.
Cassie Ventura at a hotel in Los Angeles. And we don't know if Kristina Khorram was involved in that or not, and she has not been charged with any crimes. I talked with former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani about Kristina Khorram. I want to ask you about Kristina Khorram, his former chief of staff. He called her his right hand. She was with him for years. How much trouble could she be in?
Khorram is in a lot of trouble. She is probably the one, at least if you look at the allegations in the civil lawsuits, that has the most exposure. Diddy, of course, called her his right hand, and some of the lawsuits, I believe Little Rod's lawsuit especially, named her as a defendant, and there's some very damning allegations against her that she had a fanny pack and would provide the drugs to Diddy and the sex workers. She would arrange for the commercial sex workers to be flown in. So, again, those are just allegations in a civil lawsuit. But I think of all the individuals that work for Diddy.
See, they said she had the fanny pack, and there are multiple people who have testified to that. I just don't see how this lady does not think that people are going to be smart enough to know you ran the whole house. You were booking flights. You were part of it. You are just as guilty as Diddy.
She appears to be the closest to these freak-offs. And
See?
the one that's probably the closest to being indicted if she doesn't cooperate.
Do you have a feeling on whether or not she probably is cooperating already?
I think she should cooperate if she's not. And if she's not cooperating, that's the person I lean on the most. When I was a prosecutor, the 2 best sources of information for me always were exes, husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, and employees. Current and former, they know where the bodies are buried.
Yeah,
so
she knows.
I would contact Kristina Khorram if I were prosecuting this case, I'd have her come in with her lawyer, and I would explain that she
Right, running all type of freak off errands. D-Dot probably in the freak off herself. You know she on one of them tapes. You know she on one of them tapes. It's no way you was around Diddy and you wasn't bending over like everybody else. Y'all, let's get the likes up.
significant criminal exposure if we decide to charge her, and that she should cooperate to save herself. And very likely she would.
Again, I want to be clear. At this point, Kristina Khorram is not facing any criminal charges, and we don't know if investigators or prosecutors have spoken to her. Khorram was very important to Sean Combs. We do know that. And he had even written about her on social media in the past. Meet Kristina Khorram, Chief of Staff at Combs Enterprises. Kristina, aka KK, keeps everything in my life and my business running. She's been my right hand for the last 8 years and has
This is an indictment of her services right here. Him saying that she's been my life, she's been everything, my right-hand person, means that all of the things that he has done, that is what a RICO enterprise is. It's the people that assist you in doing the dirt that you do.
proven to execute and get S-word done. Don't know how I'd function without her. In another post, Diddy wrote, "Happy birthday to my ace boon coon, my right hand, my day-to-day manager that keeps my world twirling, and she's always got my back. She makes sure that I smile every day and I don't go into those dark places. Today is your day. It's your mother effing birthday. Go KK, it's your birthday. Love you, at Kristina Khorram." Now, Kristina Khorram has deleted all of her social media accounts. They've been dark for months. While Khorram and other employees of Combs have not been charged with any crimes, Khorram has been named in a civil suit filed by record producer Rodney Little Rod Jones that included explosive allegations about both Combs and Khorram. First, Little Rod claimed Mr. Combs' chief of staff, Kristina Khorram, known as KK, instructs her staff to retrieve drugs so she can provide them to Mr. Combs for his consumption. A footnote in the suit filed by Little Rod says defendant Khorram instructed her staff, Brendan Paul, Frankie Santella, and Moy Bond, to spike bottles of champagne with ecstasy. Upon
Wait a minute. So, wait, whoa. Let me go back. What?
instructed her staff, Brendan Paul, Frankie Santella, and Moy.
It says employees of the yacht rented by Mr. Combs in the Virgin Islands witnessed defendant Khorram instruct her staff, Brendan, Frankie, to spike bottles of... This lady is going down unless she's already made a deal.
To spike bottles of champagne with ecstasy.
But if they have witnesses who heard and saw her instructing people to do that, I don't see how she's going to get out of this.
Upon information and belief, this occurred the day of December 31st, 2022, the New Year's Eve party. Little Rod claims that he complained to Khorram about sexual advances from Combs and that she responded, "Sean will be Sean," and downplayed Combs groping him as horseplay, stating, "He's just showing that he likes you." Jones also called Khorram the Ghislaine Maxwell to
She knows Sean like anybody that got a pickle, okay?
Sean Combs's Jeffrey Epstein, claiming she required employees to walk around with fanny packs of cocaine, GHB, and ecstasy to keep Combs high, and much more.
Wow.
Coincidentally,
Wait a minute. Okay, you guys, think about it this way. What if she was the one who was actually keeping Diddy drugged up? I mean, I don't know. Because now it's saying she was instructing people to make sure he stayed high. Was she? Because they're saying she was the figurehead of all this. I wonder if Diddy could flip on her and be like, she can't. That's what they're saying. I don't know. Y'all get the likes up, please. Let's get the likes up. What do you guys think about that theory?
of those drugs were mentioned by the U.S. attorney at a press conference last week. For his part, Sean Combs' lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, said that Combs has committed no crimes.
His resolve is the same.
I mean, think about it, D-Dot. If he can say that she kept him drugged up because she wanted access to the money, she ran everything. If I was his attorney, I would try to flip it on her. Hell, why not?
He believes he's innocent. I believe he's innocent. And we're going to fight this case with all of our might until we don't have to fight any longer.
But the U.S. attorney has said this investigation is far from over, which makes you wonder, could Combs' employees be in prosecutors' sights?
We are not done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage...
And you guys know he quit, so he's not even on the case anymore. He quit.
Urge anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly.
Shout out to Mix Dixon. Thank you for joining the chat. Please hit the like button on your way in. So that's right, Mix Dixon. She could have been a handler. I'm not saying that he didn't do anything, but I mean, now if she is the one making sure Diddy stays high, why would you do that? That's weird, right?
Anyone with information can call 1-877-4HSI-TIP. I want to express my deep appreciation for the victims and witnesses who have used their voices and helped bring this criminal conduct to light. We would not be here without them.
I want to bring in Jenny Alcati. She's a trial attorney at Babin Law, and she specializes in human trafficking. Jenny, your thoughts, first of all, on the indictment of Sean Combs all of these years later for these allegations?
I think that we have seen a bit of justice. I think that more absolutely can probably be done, but specifically with the minor indictments that didn't get, I think, fully prosecuted on the merits. But I do think that we are seeing justice.
Hey Ruth, welcome to the chat. How you doing? Please hit the like button on your way in. Did you guys just hear she said the minor indictments? So it looks like that there were possibly some legitimate complaints about minors, but maybe they just didn't have enough evidence. That's crazy.
Really being, I think we're finding justice for survivors of human trafficking, and people are really starting to use their voices and understanding that this is not normal, and it's nice that society is also starting to recognize human trafficking as a whole.
The feds have obviously said Sean Combs did not do this alone. That is the allegation, that he used his businesses and his employees to commit these crimes. So they've been put on notice in a way. The employees of Sean Combs have been put on notice through this indictment that we could be coming for you. You are a part of this. And so you kind of have a choice here. You can cooperate, or you can maybe be a defendant, or maybe you are going to be a defendant. So we have.
And so for those of you that don't know, there were some legal analysts in the beginning of this that said if Cassie had not come out before Diddy, she could have very well have been accused of doing some of this stuff too. So fortunately, she filed the lawsuit. She was able to say he did all of this stuff, but they said that Cassie could have been viewed as being complicit as well, at some point. So just noting that.
And Kristina Khorram, who Sean Combs described her as his right hand. She's been mentioned in a civil lawsuit as somebody who provided drugs to people at these freak-off parties. When you look at this, I mean, how much trouble do you think she could be in?
A lot.
I mean, I do think that she's probably going to be a key witness.
Miss Dixon says, I'm sure she probably was. She made her deal early. Yeah, she did. I think a lot of people, when a lot of this first came out, a lot of people probably started running scared. I'm sure they did.
And then could be a primary person for this lawsuit, because at the end of the day, Diddy did say that he posted numerous posts about her too, like praising her for all the work that she's done. He's made birthday posts. So it was very clear and apparent that she was his right hand. And so to assume potentially that she would not have had some type of knowledge or potential facilitation in these crimes, I think is a little bit troublesome. And I think that for her, probably it would behoove her or benefit her to cooperate at this point.
The allegations that have been made against her in the Little Rod suit are basically that, she was the maestro along with Diddy in some of these freak-offs. And, obviously Sean Combs is saying, hey, I am not guilty. I did not commit a crime here. His lawyer said he's not a perfect person, but he's not a criminal. So when you're being accused of bringing in drugs, helping to transport people for prostitution, arranging these freak-offs that the federal government says were a crime, I mean, you have a lot of liability potentially. Obviously Sean Combs has denied the criminal charges, but he's also denied the allegations in the Little Rod suit. But there are photographs and some other documentary evidence that have been provided with that. What is your reaction to a woman being involved with this? She's been likened in the Little Rod suit to Ghislaine Maxwell.
Ghislaine, yes.
I have one of two ways that I have seen this in my practice and in my area of expertise is that in human trafficking, typically
Yeah, it does weigh on your back. Yeah. I mean, and it's wrong, right? Like, if you have some sense of morality, I'm sure it weighs on you, and it's
do
wrong.
see traffickers using women as almost a bottom to entice other women to come.
That's what I was going to say when they talk about, well, let me turn the camera for just a second. When they talk about having women helping in situations like this, oftentimes the traffickers will use women because as a woman, our defenses are down. We trust other women. So if you're already doing this, like my defenses would be down, and it's easier for women to lure women into it because they're not expecting that a woman would get you caught up in some stuff like this. That's how I think about it. That's why I think Giselle and her were
aid in
able to do
facilitation
it.
of these crimes. So it's not uncommon actually to see that. And the other side of it though is that as a woman, for somebody who is above them in power, it could be intimidating, and it's terrifying for you to potentially go against what it is that person is asking you to do. So I think it's one of two. It could be, or it could be two of two. She could have been scared, but also too, she could have been a facilitator in it as well.
There is a power dynamic there with Sean Combs being the employer and Kristina Khorram being the employee.
So that's the same argument that Cassie has. So that's what she's going to probably say, that he forced her to do it. That's what I'm thinking.
So is there any defense there?
There could be a defense. It really just depends though too. I mean, it could be that it depends on the totality of the circumstances, right? Were there any threats? Were there any coercive means to get her to do some of these things? Especially when you're in the public eye like that, you don't know what could have been said or what could have been done to not only her, but potentially her family, her friends. It's a little bit, it puts her in a tough spot. And like you said, with the power dynamic and especially an employee-employer relationship, there could be claims and defenses that she could make or counterclaims.
One thing that I think will be argued at trial by Sean Combs was that you might not like my freak off parties, but these were consensual. Because at this point in time, we have charges involving one victim, and that one victim is Cassie. It's quite obvious that's who they're referring to in the indictment.
Right, Cassie.
So what do you think about that? The argument that this was a consensual partnership between she and Sean Combs, that he'll make that argument that you might not like the way this looks, that I've got all these videotapes, but she was a willing participant.
It depends. I can't recall. Is Cassie a minor? Sorry.
No.
No.
She
No, she wasn't.
Cassie was not a minor.
So because she's an adult, I have seen it where it is a little bit more difficult because obviously the law protects minors more, where regardless if you consented, it's not consent. So as an adult, unfortunately, there is that argument that if she did in fact consent, then it's not, it's a consensual agreement. But I do think, again, if there are means of force, fraud, or coercion, and they can show that, then there was no consent. Even if you were to
I don't know why I keep
try
stopping
and
you
say
guys.
that she agreed
Oh gosh.
out of this, as well as the investigation continues. And I do think it's important that, and it's good that this is in the public.
You guys know I keep having issues with my
I-
laptop. I don't know why.
To recognize that individuals that are publicly known could be dangerous, and it's good that there are it is being reported on more frequently.
Jenny Alcotti, I really appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Anjanette.
And that's it for this episode of Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Thanks so much for being with me. I'll see you back here next time.
Yeah, you guys, so those were a couple videos that I found in terms of what the history of Kristina Khorram and her relationship with Diddy. Now, she came out today, or there's an article that came out maybe yesterday. Excuse me, you guys, I got to cough real quick. Hold on. I don't want to be rude and cough in your face, okay? Okay, so here's a article. Now, you guys, Kristina has gone missing for like months, right? She has tried to distance herself, but unfortunately, ma'am, you have been on Diddy's payroll for years. There is no getting out of this. You, ma'am, may be indicted. I mean, maybe she's going to be part of a superseding. We keep waiting for all of those names. They keep promising us, but we're not getting them. But anyway, this is an article, and it was on Rolling Stone, you guys. Let me make sure. Yes, I try to keep my Rolling Stone subscription up because you know you have to pay for it. But anyway, it says Sean Combs' chief of staff breaks her silence. She calls the accusations against her disturbing and unthinkable. You are a effing liar. Oh, this pisses me off. Y'all get the likes up. Please hit the like button. How are you going to say these accusations against her are disturbing and unthinkable? You were there when they was having freak offs. Well, allegedly, I'm just assuming. How are you talking about the allegations against you are disturbing when you were part of the problem? Right? All of a sudden, oh my God, this is unthinkable. What were they doing? Oh my God. Exactly, you liar. Don't say it's unthinkable when you were bending over, passing out the rugs to the people, and now, oh, this is unthinkable. The stuff that y'all was doing was unthinkable. It was unthinkable that you are sitting up here witnessing these freak-offs, that you sitting up here seeing these possible minors and Diddy with these girls and passing out. Give me a break. These people are crazy. They think we're crazy. It says, I have never condoned or aided or abetted the sexual assault of anyone, Kristina Khorram said in a statement to Rolling Stone. Ma'am, girl, first of all, we know you're not going to admit it, but if Diddy has been doing this ish for 20 years and you've been on his payroll over a decade, you were aiding and abetting. Stop it. These people are crazy. It says the woman who has been described as Sean Diddy Combs' right hand has issued her first statement since being named in multiple lawsuits in association with her boss, fully denying that she ever aided and abetted the sexual assault of anyone. Ma'am, you are a bald-faced lie. Christine, and y'all know she's probably gonna do a she's going to you know where they make the agreement. I can't think of the word right now, but you guys know where she's going to what, y'all know the word I'm saying, give them the information they need so that she can get off, right? Kristina Khorram, also known as KK, has worked for the Bad Boys Entertainment founder for more than a decade. Yeah, she's in multiple lawsuits. Joining Combs Enterprises as a senior executive in 2013, according to her since deleted LinkedIn account. See, she even deleted her LinkedIn account. Ma'am, you think that just because you deleted it, they didn't get the information? They know. Her LinkedIn account, this is what I remember reading about 3 months ago. Her LinkedIn account was saying all the stuff she did with Diddy, all of, the listing all of the various roles she had as chief of staff. But now you want to hide it. Why? If you didn't do nothing wrong, why did you delete your LinkedIn account? Yes, D-Dot, of course they have it. Ma'am, you are not smarter than the FBI. They had your LinkedIn before they even arrested Diddy. They probably been watching y'all for years. Well, we know they've been watching them for years because they said, I keep telling you guys this, I don't know if you guys remember, Diddy, the FBI had been investigating Diddy from way back in the 1990s for messing with little boys because they were investigating a drug dealer back in New York, and they were asking him about it. So DDOT says anything you do, absolutely anything you delete, it has an audit trail, it has a history. You are not smarter than the FBI or fifth grader, ma'am. Okay, okay. It says Khorram's proximity to Combs has entangled her in 3 lawsuits. Yes, she is in 3 civil suits now that have been brought against Combs, who was arrested in September on trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Combs pleaded not guilty to the counts, and his criminal trial is set for May 5th in the Southern District of New York. Now, what we've been hearing, y'all, please get the likes up, please hit the like button. What we have been hearing is that there's such a slew of information and evidence. He just got the 3 people that are accusing him. He just got that, I think, yesterday. They don't think that it's going to start on the 5th. They're saying that it's probably going to be pushed out a little further because they want to do I forget which side is asking for they want to do it, the jury selection. So it's something with the jury selection that's going to kind of modify the dates. They wanted to have everything wrapped up before the 4th of July, which I was like, what does that have to do with anything? But they're talking about people's vacations and everything. So they really want to fast track it, but it still looks like there's possibly going to be a delay. It says, for months, the horrific accusations have been made about me in various lawsuits regarding my former boss. Khorram said in a statement to Rolling Stone, these false allegations of my involvement are causing irreparable and incalculable damage to my reputation and the emotional well-being of myself and my family. If you effing thought that, you wouldn't have been working with Diddy while he was doing them freak offs, handing out drugs, ma'am. Nobody got no sympathy for you. You stood around in that organization and you were cool with the get down as long as you were getting paid and you thought you were flying under the radar. DDOT says, I'm reading that they never rugged anyone with what? Oh, well, of course, Diddy's going to lie and say that. I mean, of course, his attorneys, they're not going to admit that, but we know better. Even in those civil cases, the people are coming forward saying they have a few, not a lot, because I don't believe all of the cases, but they've had a couple that actually had hospital reports where after a Diddy party, they went to the hospital. So in those instances where they went to a hospital and they were complaining of like some substance, I believe that. So I don't believe that she can act like they didn't rug anybody. That come on, ma'am. I don't believe that. She says, I've never condoned or aided and abetted the assault of anyone, nor have I ever drugged anyone. You may not have done it personally, but from what people are stating, Miss Kristina, you assisted. You were telling people. They're saying that you even told them to keep Diddy high, ma'am. So what are you talking about? DDOT says they had to receive that drip like Diddy. Yes. Yeah, you know it. So that's why those people, all of those people who were doing the freak offs and getting the drips and stuff, they're gonna have evidence of that. We saw Diddy and his mama doing it. So if his own mama getting it done, you know they was doing it to other people, and people probably just didn't know. Kristina says the idea that I could be accused of playing a role in or even being a bystander, heifer. I have to call you a heifer, baby. You were a bystander. You stood there and you, The grape of anyone is beyond upsetting, disturbing, and unthinkable, Khorram continued. That is not who I am, and my heart goes out to all the victims of assault. I am confident the allegations against me will be proven to be untrue. I don't know about that. DDOT says the ambulance was on standby. Okay. Yeah, she's talking about the allegations against her are going to be proven to be untrue. I don't know about that one, because there's too many people that have come forward, and there's too many allegations and too much evidence showing that some of this stuff occurred. So I think they're just gaslighting. It says Combs has previously praised his soul sister. Now that's interesting because y'all both have dark souls. If she stood by and watched you do this to innocent women and men, both of y'all are soul sisters. You definitely have a dark soul. The weekend, Combs' ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Cassie Ventura, filed her bombshell abuse and trafficking lawsuit against Combs, Khorram was seen sitting by her Yeah, when all of this broke, do you guys remember when all of this broke? Puffy was at some, I don't want to say a park. They was somewhere and he was sitting like on the side and Kristina was sitting right there trying to console him. Now, was she consoling him or were they trying to get their lives together? You know what I'm saying? You was sitting right there. You've been a part of the whole thing. You've been a part of the whole thing, Kristina. Come on, girl. You're not going to get out of this. Combs denied Ventura's claims and quickly settled the lawsuit. And if I could remember correctly, was Kristina named? Now, y'all, I forget. It's so much data and information with this. I can't remember everything. Was Kristina named in Cassie's lawsuit? Dida, do you remember that? Do we know if Kristina or KK was named in Cassie's suit? Dida says, I'm thinking they getting their lies straight. Baby, getting their lies straight, taking notes, little post-its. Well, da-da-da-da-da. And remember on this day, you said that. You know they getting their lies together. But Dida, do you remember whether or not KK was named in Cassie's suit? Because I don't remember. Diddy says, KK keeps everything in my life and my business running. Combs wrote on a Facebook shout out in January 2021. So even just a few years ago, KK, the man is saying you have been helping him get his freak offs and you are the chief of staff in the freak offs. He's named you. You're not getting out of this. You're not. Not that I know of. Okay, so we can't remember whether or not KK was named in it. I feel like she was, but I can't bet my wig on it, so I ain't gonna say it. Okay, I'm not gonna say it. He says, she's been my right hand for the last 8 years. Rachel Ackerman says she's 1000% absolutely helped Diddy. She helped him set up the freak off parties and with the supplies to do so. She needs to go to, right. They're saying she's the Giselle, right? She is to Diddy what Giselle was to Epstein. What is the difference, ma'am? We are not crazy here. It says she's been my right hand for the last 8 years and has consistently, not sometimes, on occasion, consistently proven to execute and get ish done. Don't know how I function without her, of course, because she helped me with the freak offs. A representative for Khorram did not clarify when she left Combs' employment. DDOT said, same thing I said, she should go to jail. Absolutely. You guys, but here's the thing. She probably did I help me here? She's probably, why am I having a brain? Because it's late, but still, when you make the deal, I can't think of what they legally call it, but she made a deal. That's probably how she's going to get off. She's probably given information. Other than that, she probably would be in jail. It says last February, music producer Rodney Little Rod Jones claimed Khorram was the Ghislaine, that's what we've been saying, the Ghislaine Maxwell to Sean Combs, Jeffrey Epstein in his sexual harassment case. And you guys, I do apologize. We can't say all of the words because of YouTube guidelines, but you can read it there. An assault lawsuit against the music executive, Ashley Cashon. Hey, Ashley, welcome to the chat. Well, ma'am, ScandaLust, I just got on your channel, and ma'am, I made sure I push. Oh, thank you. Oh, I gotta give Ashley a like. I gotta give her a heart. Thank you, Ashley. I appreciate it. Cause we be having a beg. It's like, can you like it? Can you like it? But thank you. I appreciate it. You got me laughing over here. Let me let me reset. Jones alleged. Dida says she's gonna have to. And Ashley says you're welcome. Thank you. Jones alleged that throughout the making of the Combs 2023 album, the Love album, Off the Grid, Combs made advances on him. Oh, so this is Little Rod. This is Little Rod talking. Made advances on him, including groping his buttocks and his front. Man, Diddy, come on. An attorney for Combs previously denied Jones's claims, calling them pure fiction, a shameless attempt to create media hype and extract a quick settlement. Now, you guys, for those of you that don't know, Little Rod had sued Diddy previously. I don't know if it's been multiple times, but I know he's sued him a time before. it fell flat. So I'm gonna just turn the camera on myself for a second. It fell flat, right? So people were saying, well, his claims aren't legit. He tried to sue him before, but it didn't hold up in court. But once Cassie filed her suit, now it's giving credence to the fact that Little Rod may have been telling the truth. So this time, people are starting to believe Little Rod. Previously, I think they were tossed. Dida says Cuba Gooding was there also. Oh, yes, I heard about. Ain't that something? It's like these men think that they are so powerful in Hollywood. They can just take advantage of people. And really what they bank on is the fact that, you know what they say usually, who's going to believe you? Who are you? Nobody's going to believe you, And if somebody does believe you, I have enough power and money and influence to pay them off. So they're able to silence people. So again, just recapping, it says an attorney for Combs previously denied Jones's claims, calling them pure fiction. Yeah, right. A shameless attempt to create media hype and extract a quick settlement. No, because Little Rod had sued him before, so I don't believe that this is all fake. Rachel Ackerman says, exactly, they are so evil and sick. Rachel, here's the thing. Even though we're not in the entertainment industry, we go through this every day in our corporate jobs. I mean, it's on a different level, a different scale, but and I'm not just, because I know men get treated poorly as well, so I'm not being a sexist here saying it's only women, but we know male bosses and people, you have to act a certain way to keep your job. Like they can make little comments and you be on to say, I want to slap the piss out of you if you say something like that to me again. You don't even have to go to work like inappropriate, and they'll make comments. And what do we have to do? Be quiet so we can keep our jobs. Ashley says, ma'am, I wish Sean would realize not everyone wants money. Exactly. That's the truth. Not everybody is coming forward to get a cash out. Some people want justice. Seriously, I've mentioned to you guys before, I sued a company, a big company, because it wasn't even about the money. I wanted my job. But sometimes they treat you so poorly. You have to stand up for yourself. And you're also saying, I'm going to do this for the women coming behind me. You can't treat us like this. So I do feel like some of these people were standing up, suing Diddy. People are just getting tired of this. It's not business as usual. But anyway, it says when Jones allegedly told Khorram about the unwanted encounters, according to the lawsuit, she allegedly responded, Sean will be Sean, and attempted to downplay Mr. Combs' groping, a friendly horseplay, stating that those acts were Mr. Combs' way of showing that he likes you. And anybody knows that is inappropriate and it's workplace harassment. Period. She's the chief of staff. She knows better. When he went to her and made those statements, made those allegations, if she were doing her job correctly, that is not the response she would have had. You should not have to tolerate any kind of unwanted advancements at work. Absolutely not. But again, if that's true what he's saying, then she did aid and abet. You are enabling Diddy to get away with this behavior, right? So Jones claimed Khorram oversaw all aspects of Combs' personal life, including paying hired workers for Combs. That also implicates her. You were doing some illegal stuff. It says she allegedly required all of Combs' personal employees to carry a fancy. That's the part where I was wondering. I don't know. One of you guys said she was one of his handlers. She allegedly required all of Combs' personal employees to carry a fanny pack filled with a variety of illicit substances that she allegedly ordered and distributed, including cocaine, GHB, ecstasy, all of that stuff. Y'all see that in Tucci. I just learned about Tucci, you guys, with this Diddy case. I didn't even know what that was. So Tucci or Tucci allegedly is a pink rug that is a combination of ecstasy and slocaine, according to the lawsuit. Like, these people are so crazy. They even making up stuff. And it's pink. Why does stuff gotta be pink? You see how sick they were? Like, this is crazy. It says Khorram was also named in Combs' former executive assistant's Philippines sexual harassment and battery lawsuit in December. So here again, she's named again. Ma'am, you're not that innocent. You've done some stuff. Pines worked for Combs from late 2019 to 2021 and answered directly to Khorram, who was his supervisor. Oh, wow. So not only is she aiding Diddy, but she herself is failing her direct reports. That's what it sounds like to me. Pines placed Khorram at the center of Combs' personal world in a sit-down interview for the ID docuseries The Fall of Diddy. Did you guys watch The Fall of Diddy? It was a great documentary. I loved it because it had people like different phases in his life coming forward and just kind of giving us a glimpse into how he became the monster that he is. But one thing that I think people are forgetting, he didn't do this alone. There are other people who supported this behavior, and I think they need to be held accountable. I don't think that they should be walking around in society because they could be still doing it. I really just think that all of the parties, the core team, they need to be held accountable. Pines alleged that he once witnessed Combs kick a woman to the ground. Oh, that's terrible. To the ground outside of his Miami home in January 2021. My goodness. See, this is terrible. I told you I was crazy, Combs allegedly told the woman before kicking her in the stomach and demanding his sweatshirt back, leaving. This man is a monster. Oh my God. Somebody needs to. But you know what? They probably are giving him reading him his riots in jail. I'm pretty sure. I hope he's having a rough time of it. Pines alleged in his lawsuit that he later told Khorram about the incident and how upset it made him. And again, second party harassment. If something doesn't happen to you per se, but you witness it in the workplace, it's like second party assault or second party harassment. You can be impacted by things that you see in the workplace. I don't understand why they didn't take these people serious. And how upset it made him. Defendant Khorram instructed plaintiff to never speak about it. Oh, here we go. Silencing the person, the victim. And there are repercussions that can happen if he did. See, there's the threats. So if you speak up about things that are wrong, you can lose your job, which again, like I said, y'all know we deal with this in the workplace now, in the corporate sphere. They're just things that you're told, shut up and do your job. They don't quite say it like that, but they let you know. You keep talking, you won't be sitting at that desk, right? A large part of Pine's job, he claimed, was preparing for what Combs and Khorram allegedly called Wild King Nights, the freak-offs, which he described as a chaotic, days-long encounters between Combs and a woman. Wow, that is crazy. I don't think I could have lasted in that kind of environment. It just morally, it would have just been too dark for me. I don't think I could have. Pines claimed it was Khorram who would usually alert him to Combs wanting to have a wild king night. That's sick. Sending him on a mad dash to set up hotel rooms. Oh my goodness, with baby oil, lube, male libido pills, Plan B, candles, mood lighting, and a variety of X toys. Hell, they have more fun than married couples. Damn, I mean, this is a whole production. Khorram would also allegedly let Pines know when Combs was finished and he would go clean up what was described as the wreckage inside the rooms. Can y'all imagine what job that was? That had to be disgusting. In October, Khorram was also named in an assault lawsuit brought against Combs by a woman in San Francisco. Combs and others named in the California lawsuit have denied their claims. Oh, okay. So the suit that they're talking about in San Francisco is the Ashley Parham, and that is not actually in San Francisco. That's actually in Orinda. It's here in the Bay Area. So you guys, I just thought that was interesting. There's a lot going on. We're waiting to see what's gonna be the fate of Kristina. Based on the things that I'm hearing as of late, it looks like she probably cut a deal. So she probably won't be doing time. She's probably, flipping on Diddy and giving the feds the information that they want. But Kanye has been off the rails. But I was going to talk about Kanye, but maybe we'll talk about this tomorrow, you guys. Look at this. Let me flip the screen. it's just so like I like to really get in depth. But I don't know if you guys heard about this. Kanye was with the Tate brothers during North's visit, and he accused Kim Kardashian of trafficking. So that's like a whole nother thing. I'm like, oh my God, is it ever ending? Honestly, I believe all of these people are complicit. Like Kim Kardashian, I don't know if she's a trafficker, but she definitely, all of them are peers. So I believe they all have done some crazy things. I mean, her mother, having her turn that tape and get money for it, like who, generally speaking, most mothers, I'm thinking most moms would be like, we would want to get rid of the tape. We don't want that tape. We don't want to give it life. We want to get rid of it. Now it did make them a household name. It made them millionaires. It just really changed their lives. But I'm thinking at the time, most mothers wouldn't want that for their kids. It's almost like prostitution. I'm just saying, right? And then we have Kim so closely aligned with the Balenciaga, and then we know that whole thing with the scandal with the children and the bondage teddy bears and all of that. So to me, all of these people are kind of weird and do things that you would question their morality when it comes to children and all and just stuff like that. So that's another thing I want to talk about because not Diddy, Kanye has made a lot of comments about Kim Kardashian and he's going off the rails, and he's totally wrong calling Beyonce and Jay-Z's kids the R word. Like, kids are off limits. Everybody knows that. And it looks like Kanye is having a mental episode or mental crisis. And I personally believe that if somebody doesn't rein him in, I feel like he's going to end up like Wendy Williams. I mean, at first I was kind of saying it in jest and jokingly, but I feel like Kanye is really out there and he doesn't have anybody in his corner to really bring him back, right? I was watching something earlier with people, actually a woman who knew Kanye from back in the day when he was a newer performer early in his career. And she was saying that it was the loss of his mother, that his, Donda dying, which really devastated him. So I feel like, I mean, of course, we all think that he's crazy. His rants are horrible. The comments that he's making about the Nazis and all of these things. But it sounds like he's really having a mental episode. And the fact that they're alleging or saying that he's on these drugs, somebody needs to go in and do an intervention. And if they don't, I think we're witnessing a very bad downward spiral of Kanye West. Some people are saying it's all publicity. He's doing this because of that new song he has. But if that's the case, he's burning bridges. He's alienating himself. And this is just not the way to do it. His artistry should speak for itself. People have called Kanye a musical genius. I don't say that. I mean, I'm not from the era where they think that. But that's what they're saying, that he's so great in what he does. But you shouldn't have to do all of this to sell a record. So I don't know what y'all think about all of that. Let me see. Jose said, let's go. Okay, I missed some of your comments. Let me go up here, you guys. Rachel says, oh, absolutely. I apologize, you guys. I'm a little behind. D-Dot says, I'm looking at the substances. Ashley says, thank you, ma'am. Justice instead. D-Dot says, I absolutely believe that. D-Dot says, Lord have mercy. D-Dot, Lord have mercy. Okay. D-Dot says, nasty as hell. Kanye is mad at Playboy Cardi for talking about his daughter. Yeah, now, I don't understand that whole little thing with Kanye and Playboy Cardi. I heard it has something to do with Playboy Cardi winning North on a track. I don't know. I ain't gonna lie. D-Dot, you could tell us, Matter of fact, I could drop the link. You could come and tell us. D-Dot says they will turn Kanye into a zombie. Those teeth that he got and that really weird grill. Like, I know he has the money to do these things, but when you have people that love you and support you, they kind of say, no, sir, we're not going to let you just destroy yourself like that. And so what is that? They're saying that he's taking some kind of nitrogens or I don't know what it's called, but they're alleging that he's using these drugs, and that coupled with mental illness is a recipe for disaster. Look at what happened to Wendy Williams. That's essentially how she ended up in her guardianship. The alcohol abuse, the drugs, and all of that stuff. And she has the thyroid issue and the medication. So it's a horrible pairing, right? Rachel says all the Kardashians care about is money. I feel bad for Kanye. Yeah, I mean, Kim, see, here's the thing. Kim is going to get, well, we know she already has full physical custody. He's going to lose his rights to even see the kids. And I hate to say it, but it's going to be his fault. It's no fault. It's his fault though. I mean, because of the way that he's going off, you can't blame Kim for that. Jose Medina says, let's go. Yeah, let's go, let's go, let's go. It's late. I know it's late for some of you guys. Dida says, okay, nitrous. Okay, I was mispronouncing it. Nitrous. I don't know what it is, Dida, because I don't take it. Is that where they put the mask on your nose and you kind of, because I guess I am scared. I hate going to the doctor. I mean, I have to go, but I don't like it. Rachel says he needs someone who truly cares about him and will help him, and be in his corner. I know. You guys, this also brings up the point about Justin Bieber. Like, so many of these guys, they make this money, and the hanger-oners, people just come in their circle to get money, and they don't care anything about them. Hey, Jose Medina, no, you didn't come in late. You came in right on time. Thank you for joining. So thank you and welcome in. Dida says they was really trying to take Wendy out. Yeah, Wendy. Now there's also the component of Diddy that, they're saying there's a Diddy connection there. It's just crazy because all of these people are interconnected. So you really just don't know who's who. You really just don't know. I mean, listen, okay, people think that this is far-fetched and it's crazy. But do you guys remember that Sweetie Pie? I never watched the show, but the lady, she owned a restaurant, I believe it in Louisiana, and her own son killed his nephew for money. People do things like that for millions if they have a policy. So anything is possible, right? Anything is possible. But anyway, y'all, thank you for joining me tonight. Shout out to my guy, D-Dot, who be in the chat. Thank you. And thank you to all the new people who are joining me. Jose Medina, welcome. Rachel Ackerman, thank you, ma'am. And one more, y'all. Let's see. Ashley. Hey, Ashley. I thank you guys all for joining me tonight. You made my evening. Hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow. But you guys have a beautiful day at work tomorrow. Don't let your coworkers piss you off. Okay? And just meditate and have a good one. And I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye.